Hello and welcome, Exiles, to what will be, hopefully, my most unethical build to date. Probably still won't be able to beat Delirium or Stackers. There's something about getting 100 action speed from your belt alone that just isn't something we're going to be able to beat. But this character is going to still represent what I believe are the strongest, basically, interactions, skills, items in the game. The reason I'm doing this is because I YOLO'd an amulet and got probably what is the best item I've ever owned in PoE. It was an amulet that hits, what's the word? It hit basically everything right. I hit this amulet here. 88 all attributes, 88 crit multi, minus lightning res, plus to all skills, and proj speed. This was me attempting to basically make an amulet for another character, and I hit +1 all skill when I was rolling with Scorn Essences and lightning res, and I decided, you know what, YOLO, I'm just going to put in proj speed, just see what happens, and I hit this thing. The most likely, most unethical item I've ever owned. And I told myself, there's no way I don't make a build with that. That is so unethical, I have to at least respect what it is and make a build around it. So, that's exactly what we're doing. Now, because we're building around the principle of unethicalness and just pure power, I try to hold myself to some level of morals where I try to use some new interaction or I try to do something that is not solved or new sort of thing. I don't do things that are already everybody knows is good, generally speaking. But for this, I'm kind of lifting myself that restriction in the name of really representing what this amulet can be. So normally, I've done Spark before when it's been less in, I guess, the popular state it's in right now. And I would hesitate to use it sometimes just because of how good it is, and I know it's good, and I want to use other things and be different and be cute. But for this, gloves are off. We're using Spark. Spark, in my opinion, is probably the best spell skill in the game all around. You might not be able to get the highest single target in the game, but you can get close to the highest single target, in my opinion. On top of the fact, you can also get probably what is the best, most high quality of life clear in the game, because it just hits everything on screen. It just hits everything on screen. You don't have to target with it. You'll see we can do this Chimera. I can stand here in the middle. I don't have to move. Everything gets deleted. Normally you have to jump around to all three corners. With Spark, you don't have to do that. Spark has high quality of life. I will also say that this build is currently scuffed. This isn't the setup I'm going for in the end game. This is just basically a stepping stone to enable my character to be able to do some Guardian rotations in order to, Chimera went into smoke phase. In order to, what's the word? In order to, basically farm the currency to create the gear necessary. So right now we're just kind of basically showcasing what I've been doing just to make some money, just some Guardian rotations, really quick currency, really easy, pretty brainless. I grab Guardian maps, I make sure they don't have no regen or Ellie reflect on them, and then I put them in the map and I just go. I just run these, a full rotation of the 4 Guardians takes, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. It's not too bad. It's pretty chill, pretty relaxing stuff. But anyways, on to how I'm taking the gloves off in terms of unethicalness of this build. I am breaking out basically, if there's an item I view as unethical, I'm putting it in the build. In my opinion, things like Aegis Aurora fall under that category. Aegis Aurora is the highest survivability item in the game. You won't be able to tell me otherwise. I'm convinced of it. It gives so much. There's something about getting basically, 30-40% of your life back or your EHP pool back on block that just makes it hard to beat, especially since how easy it is to cap block. There's other things we're using like multi-link Spark gloves. Spark is another reason Spark is so good, is because of how strong multi-link gloves are for Spark, and they're actually relatively reasonable to craft. They're going to cost you somewhere in the range of like 10 to 30 divines. You might say that's a crazy amount, but the power level of having 8-link gloves over a 6-link chest is something that you can't scoff at. And that's something we're working with as well. Now, granted, my current Spark gloves aren't actually like, they're really not that good, so I'm a little bit scuffed on that end, but it's fine. It's fine. We work with that. Now I gotta be careful in this fight because Phoenix makes me lose. I don't know where the other Guardian is. Oh, it was Hydra, so you probably hit somewhere. Alright, give me that Hydra. Alright, so. What else things are we using that's broken? Oh, another thing we're gonna be building into is Aura scaling. Now, we're not going like full Aura bot. This is not the tree we're going to end up with. I have a fully different, like, I'm not even an Inquisitor in my final setup for this character. I'm going to be a Guardian, but this is just like a stepping stone. But Aura scaling, I think, is very, very strong. So the other advantage of doing something like multi-link gloves is you can have an Enlightened setup with 5 auras in your chest piece, and you can have a chest piece with +2 auras that doesn't actually cost that much, because people don't value +2 auras on Doryani's prototype. People care about +2 AoE, +2 socketed, but I was like, aura gems, that's what I want. I want to get my levels jacked up on these skills I'm using. So moral of the story is, there's aura setup that I'm going to be changing here. This isn't really what I want right now. I don't even have Wrath in the build. I only have Zealotry, Determination, and Haste, and I have Tempest Shield and Petrified Blood. These are going to be dropped for things like Discipline and Wrath. I have a way to switch those out that I'm going to change to, but we're just working our way there. Other things that are going to be broken in this build, well, I was going to be using Self-Chill, but because of the boots I made, Self-Chill is no longer an option, and that's okay, because I'm just going to end up doing more damage. Self-Chill was going to be the feels-good variant of the build, but we can do non-Self-Chill and just deal hella more damage. And that's because, in my opinion, can I even click these boots? In my opinion, the boots that have you the Elevated Onslaught and Tailwind mod are kind of, to some extent, the highest power level of boots you can get, in my opinion, in most cases, for speed and damage. And I got really lucky on my first Awaken Orb hitting T1 Fire Res. That'll help me basically cap my res out pretty easily. Right now I have a res problem. You can see I crafted Fire Res on my Scepter, which isn't a good look if you're using a damageable stuff. Like, I could bench craft 20% cast speed, which is a good amount of damage, and I'm crafting Fire Res. So clearly I have a Fire Res problem, and this will help fix that. Now, unfortunately for me, when I rolled for Elusive and then Ashling, I hit Cannot Be Chilled. Cannot Be Chilled is not something I want to roll over, because these boots are like perfect. I can't roll over these. These are too good to roll over. But it also means I can't go Self-Chill, which is fine. Self-Chill, ultimately, in terms of actual absolute power, is not the play. Rings are going to be much better here. And I'm going to be using actually a setup with Death's Rush, which we'll see if this works or not, but I think it'll be pretty cool, where we actually have pretty close to permanent uptime on Adrenaline in boss fights, because I'm going to be using Writhing Jar along with the notable right here, Replenishing Remedies. This, mixing the fact which I'm doing Trader with this build, means I'll have very good uptime on my Writhing Jar, which in turn means I'm going to have good uptime on Death's Rush. This means I'm going to have good uptime on Onslaught, because I'm going to have on-kill buffs basically always up in boss fights thanks to Writhing Jar. So that's a setup I'm going to be trying. Also, this is just, you know, a mediocre ring with 2 stats positive, 1 stat negative. I was going easy for my first ring. I'm kind of low on budget, but this will basically help me cap my Chaos Res, help me cap my negative Lightning Res. Right now I'm at 150. This will take me to 200. Stuff like that. Other things that I view as broken. People meme on me for using Trader all the time, but the reason I use Trader all the time is because I do view it as straight up one of the strongest keystones in the game, if not the strongest keystone in the game. I think basically until people start to give it more respect, and maybe it becomes mainstream, that point I might stop using Trader. If it becomes mainstream, I might stop using Trader, because at that point I'll say, you know what? Everybody agrees it's meta. Now I'm a meta cuck if I use it. That'll be the reason I stop using Trader. But until that point, I'm going to keep preaching that Trader is freaking fantastic. If you have it set up for pseudo perma uptime, it feels so good in my opinion. We'll see if the game will stop lagging, or maybe it won't stop lagging. Who cares? I'll just click the button anyways, and hopefully we don't die to lag. Can I click the button? All right, whatever. I can't really interact with this, so hopefully we don't get bad mods in this. We have crit multi, I don't know, some other mods. The game's, I've had a lot of internet issues the past day, so this has been a regular thing for me. But doesn't matter, it's still fine. This is the other thing I like about this build, is it, even though my connection's been relatively spotty the past couple weeks, we can still do content like this just with ease. And then it's easy currency. You can see after 4 Guardian maps, we do get a good amount of currency. We get at least, I want to say, somewhere around the range of 8 fragments is pretty standard, I think, between the invitation being doubled and the fights we do. Get a good amount of essences. I'm investing 8C into the essence thing. We're definitely getting more than 8C of essences out of it. For 5 minutes of effort, I think this is a pretty high currency per hour strategy. Roughly speaking, you can sell 15 of these frags for about 1 divine. Maybe I'll have to decrease my rate, make it a little bit cheaper, but point is, there's a lot of value. This is some quick, easy money. I'm doing this so that way I can actually make this character what it's meant to be, and really get it to shine. I just want to make this video is basically video talking about my plans for the future of this character. Normally, I don't go super high in investment. I usually limit myself, and this is going to be totally like skewed in perspective. I'm going to say 50 to 100 divines is normally like the max of the currency I put into my characters, which still sounds crazy high to a lot of people. And it is. I will agree with that. But in my opinion, when you compare it to people going multiple mirrors and stuff, this is a fraction. My builds are a fraction of those costs. Just in perspective of if you're looking at a super min-max build and you're looking at my build, there's a huge discrepancy in cost there, and I don't normally go into the ultra high end of a build. This is a scenario where I'm actually going to grind some currency to make the upgrades to make this character what its potential is, because I want to see how high this character can fly, because I really think it has a high ceiling, and I've been enjoying playing it. It's just pretty chill, a lot of fun, and this is just my video saying, hey, this is the unethical build I'm trying to do. I don't normally do things like this, but I decided to make an exception just because I'm never going to see an amulet like this for the next 15 leagues. I don't think, at least. I don't know. This is the most unethical thing I've ever owned in PoE, and I really want to give it the appreciation it deserves, if you can understand that perspective. Anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video about the character I'm working on and putting together. The next video will be a completely different setup. This setup, like I said, I'll include the PUB in the description, but this is a scuff setup. This is only a stepping stone for me to farm currency with self-chill and stuff. We're going to swap to a Guardian setup that is going to be much more well-rounded, in my opinion. I think I've theory crafted a much better setup. This is a scuffed setup, okay? Don't trust it. There's much better things to come, in my opinion. We'll see if I'm right about that, but until next time, take care. Thanks for watching, Exiles. Peace out.